This is Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema, and this is kind of a sequel episode to the last episode we just recorded, and it's also part of our Spike Lee retrospective, one of Hans' favorite filmmakers, Spike Lee. Hans, you are a scholar of African American cinema.
Yeah, I'm a Lee head. Is that what you call the fans? Spike head? Which one? Which one's better?
I think a Lee head is better and sounds
Lee head
about right.
A little racist.
Hey, we're talking about Old Boy, 2013, the highly awaited remake. You know, they said that movie's good, but we can make it great. We can make Old Boy great again. That's what he says in Da 5 Bloods, I think.
At the end, in that little documentary styled speech that the characters make, 2013.
What were you doing in 2013?
What was that, like 9 years ago?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
I think I was still in England, with hopes and dreams of staying there and making something out of myself before that all fell apart. So I was still hopeful and a nice boy, 20 something year old, 20 late 20s boy.
And I know you were really looking forward to this Old Boy remake.
Old
boy. That's right. So we're talking about 2013's Old Boy, which is the only film, a little bit of trivia for you, the only film that Spike Lee ever directed that does not have, at the beginning of it, a Spike Lee joint.
What does it have?
Directed by Spike Lee.
Oh. Cool.
Yeah, it's not... What did you think it would have?
I don't know.
Alan Smithy.
Was Chinese. Well, not Chinese, Korean, my bad. Goddamn. What's something that Korean people... Wait, no, I just realized that joint is not joint. It's like that's so like same flick, not a Spike Lee. Never mind.
Joint
can we move
security
on?
area.
Can
Spike Lee's.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I don't know how Spike Lee got this movie. I don't know who suggested that Spike Lee be the one to helm the American adaptation of Old Boy. It's very puzzling, but I was intrigued when I heard about this because I love Park Chan-wook. I love Spike Lee, but I also knew at the time Spike Lee has not really been firing on all cylinders as a director, but he hadn't made the worst films of his career just yet. Although I think we did say She Hate Me was his worst movie, right? So maybe the worst film, but some of the worst movies like Chirac is just a total piece of shit. The Sweet Blood of Jesus, remarkably terrible. I would actually probably say now in retrospect, having watched She Hate Me twice, that's an easier going than The Sweet Blood of Jesus. So I don't know. I thought it was a very strange choice because there's nothing really in Spike's filmography that screams adapt Korean cinema.
Right.
You know, he did, what do you do? Inside Man and 25th Hour, which kind of maybe gleaned that he could helm something that was action related or thriller related, but it didn't say, hey, you know who would be great for Old Boy? Spike Lee.
You know, this movie that's considered by many people to be the best Korean movie of all time has a lot of action and is very violent. Let's get Spike Lee. Who is producer? I'm going to look that up because I'm sure
Focus Features put the film out. I don't know if there's any like notable producers on this movie. Now, Spike Lee has long contended, and I am inclined to believe him, that sometime during post-production, they were not happy with his cut of the film and said, we're going to hire some different editors and we're going to take over and rework the movie. Which I don't know if that would be enough to save what was there. If you saw Spike Lee's original version, it's kind of tough to say because, again, he was not the director that he was in the 90s at this point in his career. I do believe that if you were to see whatever his director's cut was and he puts it. He issued a book that's just called Spike, and it's a coffee table book, and it goes through his entire career, all the commercials and films and everything that he's done, that he's directed. Um, he makes a note saying, "I hope someday the world gets to see what was my version of Old Boy," because he thinks there's a good movie in there that he cut and they didn't want anything to do with. Maybe because he might have been at the peak of his alcoholism during this time.
That's weird because he's a producer on the movie too. You would
Hmm.
think that he would have kept that cut to himself. They
I'm
probably
sure it
didn't let him.
exists somewhere. I mean, I don't know actually. Back in 2013, I don't think we were in the era of, all right, the director is gonna sneakily put a version of the film on a hard drive and store that forever. Paul
Right.
Schrader's the first guy to do that when they took over The Dying of the Light, and that might have been Focus Features as well. That was 2015 or 2016. Nicholas Winding Refn signed on to produce it. He got Anton Yelchin and Nicolas Cage, and they reworked his movie in a way that he was not happy with, in a way that Refn was not happy with, so that it could be sold as like one of these generic Nicolas Cage action movies that
Hmm.
went direct to DVD during that time.
Yeah.
And he put out his version, Dark, on the Pirate Bay. He uploaded it himself with a little note. So he's like the first guy to publicly do that. And
Was it that big of a difference
yeah,
between the two? There was. I don't think I
yes.
ever saw Dark.
Dark was the only version that I watched, and I actually picked up some. So he did not have the master copies of the footage that was used in the movie. He didn't have the dailies, and what he did was he picked up his phone when he was in like the room or wherever where he was watching it, and he just recorded it, and then he put that in the movie, but he made it part of the style of the movie. And I thought it was kind of interesting how he had done that. Now, if you watch The Dying of the Light, which is on Netflix, I believe, their version is actually better. Their version is, I mean, it's not that generic of a movie. It's better. It's just a little more complete than what Paul Schrader's cut wound up being. So that's not to say that Spike Lee's version of Old Boy would be the superior version, but I don't think you can go much lower than what we got.
Yeah. I was about to ask your opinion of it because I think it's a big piece of shit that should have never existed. Um, what do you think of Spike Lee's old? What's your take on it? I don't think. Do you have it on Letterboxd?
I probably have it letterboxed. I actually wrote a review for a website when it came out. I had gone to go see it in the movie theater when it was put out in 2013, and my review was not totally negative. And when I watched it back, it was definitely more negative
You
than
have
when I saw it.
1.5 stars on Letterboxd.
Yeah. So listen, I think that there are parts of this movie that are salvageable. I think that the casting isn't bad on
Hmm.
paper. I think Josh Brolin is kind of he's too, he's almost like too manly for this character. He's too much of
Yeah,
like a strong, brutish guy, and you need a
his
dude who's soft. And they,
his jaw is too strong for him to
mhm.
play that guy.
You need to have an actor who can play both, who can play soft and then also a heavy and make it
Josh Gad.
believable. Yes, the Josh
Yes.
Gad, Jonah Hill, skinny and fat. That's the way you got to go with it.
Yeah, he just you got the hallway scene where he beats a bunch of people with his skin flaps after he lost all that weight.
It's like a bat. It
Yeah.
just sucks them up in it. Somebody
Charlotte
like,
Copley's terrible though. I
yeah,
think the
he's the
casting of
worst
Josh
part.
the casting of Josh Brolin maybe it's not bad. He doesn't have the look, but he's a good actor. He didn't bother me that much. Charlton, it's he makes a complete mockery of what the character is, especially
Hmm.
in the original one. That's the that actor whose name I don't know, but that Korean guy, he
We could
goes
literally apply to like 75% of that movie, that
yeah,
Korean guy.
he goes from like contained psychos to crazy to like smart villain that's very smarmy and very shitty to like very vulnerable by the end of it too. So it's a huge range of acting that he does. Charlton is just a caricature.
Yeah.
He got in good shape, and then he's just, you know,
So
cartoon.
I again I think with the Joe, I think his name is like Joe Desu or Joe Doucette. Joe Doucette is the character in the American one. I think you would have been better off if you had gotten like a. I don't even think this would be good, but like a Woody Harrelson type of guy who can jump from funny to like manic and masculine. And then with the Sharlto Copley character, where you're playing the bad guy, I think Sharlto could have been a really good and interesting choice if Spike said, knock it off. Stop doing that. You're fucking ruining the movie. Why are you acting that way? Why are you doing that voice? Because he's a cartoon character. He
Yeah.
does not fit with the tone. You know, up until Sharlto Copley's character comes in, I'd give the movie like a 50% because I think it's not necessarily landing, but it's definitely as watchable as it is unwatchable during scenes. You're going back and forth. And when his character comes in and explains the whole idea of why he locked up Joe, it sucks any sort of plausibility out of the movie and makes it a joke. It's just it's horrible. And the acting of Josh Brolin also suffers in that third act whenever he is acting alongside Sharlto Copley. When he's losing his mind at the end, at like the twist revelation of Elizabeth Olsen being his daughter, Josh Brolin's acting is fucking horrible in that scene, and it's entirely because Sharlto Copley is his acting partner. He's feeding off that very like jokey, not committed energy that's going on there, and it doesn't work. It just feels embarrassing and silly, and it's ultimately a big mistake. This
Well,
movie.
from starting with his look, uh, I'm trying to figure out what Spike Lee was going for because the original character, he's just like a slick rich guy, right? That's young, and that's it. But then when you have something like this, like
Oh
how are
God.
you supposed to take this serious? That goatee, that beard that they gave him, and just it's like he didn't know what he wanted from that character. So it's just not just his performance, but also the look that this guy has doesn't really scream serious villain for movie. You know, it feels more like a sketch. You know, it's not
It
very
feels
threatening.
like a T-Mobile commercial when you see him on screen with that iPhone in his hand. The beard. This is like, oh God, it's horrible. Also, making the
Like,
his bodyguard a woman, I think, was a poor
yeah,
choice. You know, here's how you fix the movie: have Sharlto Copley be Joe, and
yep,
have Josh Brolin be the antagonist.
yeah.
Then you probably have
I
a
could
decent movie.
just have him not be ripped, I guess, because there's a that I completely forgot about when he's in the pool, and I've never seen Charles Copley in shape before, and it's kind of weird because it just doesn't fit with who the guy is. And I know he's acting, so I'm supposed to suspend disbelief, but it just also, what is that thing on his chest too? Like that basket case monster thing on his chest? Like
Well, it goes
it's
with the backstory because they changed the backstory for this character where it was a very simple. He was fucking his sister.
yeah,
Someone found out. The sister was embarrassed, thought she was pregnant, convinced herself she was, and then killed herself. And in this one, you know, you got to up the ante. There was always the talk of. So prior to this movie even happening, when Spielberg was set to helm it and it was going to be Will Smith as the lead character, there was always a talk of they're going to base it off of the manga, not the 2003 Korean film, and they're not going to do the ending. They will never have in a Western movie the lead character fuck his own daughter and fall in love with his daughter. And Spike and I, Gary Dauberman, horrible screenwriter Gary Dauberman, who I've criticized endlessly on this program, who's helming Salem's Lot, and that also now no longer has a release date. Um,
Oh,
that could
really?
wind up they
Because
they
I
yeah.
remember the last time you mentioned it, you were like, "Oh, we haven't heard anything. It's supposed to come out in like September or something, or
Hmm.
October, and we haven't
And
heard
then it got
anything for
moved.
months."
Then it got moved to I think March, and now it doesn't have anything. They don't know what they're doing with that movie. Um, Gary Dauberman is he ruins everything that he's part of. He's the reason why the It movies kind of, or at least the second one, floundered. He's just bad news. If you see his name attached to the script, I don't know anything about his directing. We'll find out. He wrote I Am Legend. So he was going to do a draft for Spielberg that would star Will Smith, and then he did a one over for Spike Lee, and that is where this ending came in.
Dude, the fucking ugh. You got Annabelle, you got Annabelle Creation, The Witches, The Nun, Annabelle Comes Home, uh, It Chapter 2,
Mm-hmm.
The Cabin House. I don't know what that is, but yeah,
The Cabin House, isn't that M Night's movie that he has coming out?
no, it's directed by Devon Lohrop. Don't know. 2019.
Okay.
College friends rent a cabin in a remote part of town for a weekend getaway. A weekend getaway that quickly turned from a weekend of fun to a weekend of pure terror. It looks terrible, but yeah, that track record. I I I understand that those Annabelle movies probably made money, right?
Oh yeah.
But I wouldn't give a beloved. It's not a franchise, but an IP that a lot of people appreciate, like Salem Slot, to this guy. He should
I
just
don't think
be.
they care about it. I mean, that's the big thing too. I think their mentality is if Stephen King's name is on it, there's an audience for it, and it's better to just have something out than nothing out. Or at least that was the idea before Zaslav took over Warner Brothers, which is maybe why this is up in the air as far as what they want to do with it. And Gary Dauberman is somebody who is very reliable at delivering a an audience accepted property, right? Because people still liked it, and he did a one over on the Fukunaga script. People liked I Am Legend. He's really got an extremely lucky track record as far as that goes. And James Wan can't help but employ the man. So he helmed this 2013 screenplay, and instead of you know pulling back, pulling punches with this version of Old Boy, they took the mentality: what if we just took it a step further? What if, what if the antagonist wasn't just fucking his sister? What if he was fucking the entire family? What if he was sucking his dad's cock? Oh, great
Is that
idea.
is that what the thing on his chest? Is that what happens when you do that?
Yes,
Because
his dad was like one of those xenomorph aliens
it's
and
just
busted a
cum,
load on his
acid, and
chest and just burned.
yes.
That's the big twist. They cut that out. That wasn't Spike Lee's cut of the movie.
That's why he's
Um,
always mad.
he gets his shotgun blast to the chest because his dad is like, "Why am I fucking my two kids? I got to kill everybody now. I just ruined my family. I fucked my kids. I got to kill them."
Yeah, I don't know about that
Hey,
change.
you
I
ever
don't know if
fuck your kids and kill them?
no tried. That's why I have this on my chest. It's just pull out a. Uh, yeah, I don't. I like it when directors take risks. That just seems like a not a good
Stupid. It just
idea.
seems fucking
Yeah.
stupid.
It's like the original one is impactful enough. Why do you need to up the ante? And then and if you're going to do that, at least don't have a cartoon character playing that character because then it's like what's the point of going harder, I guess, and then is delivered by, a cartoon villain. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Why is there a British family living in America? That's what I was
Yeah.
wondering.
Why does he have a Korean uh,
Because
lady with him?
he's a WMAF guy, libertarian.
What is
That's
that?
I don't know. But
You'll
listen,
never walk
uh,
alone. Is that what
I, I that's right.
that? A man that walk alone on their own shoes. What is that called? Something like that.
What, MGTOW? Damn, I forgot MGTOW is even a thing. We're so far away from 2016 now. Hey, what
What
do you think
is that?
about Michael Imperioli in this movie as the schlubby best friend, a cafe nerd,
Yeah,
computer cafe,
I think he should stay
not acting?
with Sopranos related
Oh,
things, and that's it.
stay
I think,
narrating Sopranos movies over
yeah,
Zoom.
good, yep, good for him. He got paid for that. He probably should not play anything other than that. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but there's people that are just born to play a thing, and then you see them doing something else, and you're kind of like, oh, look, is that Italian guy from that other thing? But now he's here.
He was with
Like,
Spike before anything Sopranos. He co-wrote Summer of Sam.
okay,
What the
that's
hell do
cool.
you know? You don't know nothing. He's an accomplished screenwriter. God damn it.
Never seen Summer of Sam.
It's
He
not
can
very good. It's not.
he
It's
can.
not the worst. It's actually. You know who's good in that is John Leguizamo. That was like the last good thing he
Oof,
did. Damn.
I
Hey, did you ever
can't
see The
relate.
Pest?
Yeah. What a
I fucking
what
hate
a
that
piece
movie.
of
I
shit.
couldn't believe. I put that on, and I was immediately turned off to it. Like, I thought, like, okay, well, this is '90s. It's John Leguizamo. It'll be over the top. I just got mad. You
Yeah,
know, I didn't even. I want to tell you to pull up like the opening of it, but I don't even want to sit through it. It's just kind of it's infuriating.
just get
Um,
mad. He's just someone that's been able to have a career with very minimal talent, playing pretty much the same thing
mhm.
and pulling his fake Latino card, his fake oppression card, even though he's been a fucking millionaire for 20 years.
Well, he's mad that James Franco is going to be Che
Oh yeah,
Guevara, right?
yeah. No, Castro.
Or Castro. Sorry, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Castro. He wants to play Castro. That's why.
Yeah, that's have you seen what he looks like now though? Can't really uh I
You
don't
want to just
know.
pull up a picture of John Leguizamo 2022?
It's a chubby face Castro.
Let's see. Eh, I mean,
No,
uh,
this is a real one. Hold on. This is from his Instagram. It's
that's
not.
the not red carpet
Yeah,
photo.
there we go. Here it is. Yeah, that's not very Castro to me. That's very sandwich shop owner Leguizamo, not the leader of a communist country at all. So good for him to be. But you see the thing, like he's just no growing the Latinx
Yeah,
presence.
he's
You're
the D.L. Hughley of the
yeah,
Latin community.
but I don't. Does anyone? I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of Latin American people that just having one of their own there. They support everything they do. You can still, as a Latin American person, I can confidently say that he sucks, and not just like I've liked him in some things, and I think he plays sometimes plays the side guy okay, but he always has that extra level that is not needed just because he has to be flamboyant, he has to be Latino. So here's me. So I've never really thought much of him. I watched The Pest because of you, because of what you told me like years ago, and that's just it's completely ruined. I can't enjoy Super Mario Brothers anymore because
Maybe he should have played the Sharlto Copley bad guy in this movie to tone it down a little bit.
just get ripped. Uh, Yeah, oh, by the way, he's complaining about that. Didn't he play Italian in Super Mario Brothers? You
Yeah, yeah, he
hypocrite.
did. Oh no. He was adopted. That's why.
Oh,
So
the
yeah, he was
Puerto
still playing
Rican,
Puerto Rican
right.
Luigi.
Hermano Mario, I get it.
Hmm.
All right. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. So, why did we get to Leguizamo?
Because he was in Summer of Sam, which Spike Lee
All
directed,
right.
and that was one of his last good artistic performances.
Should we do an episode on the past?
Fuck no. No, I wouldn't even want to do a Civic TV on the pest.
Just want to make you watch it again. Yeah.
That you know who else is in the pest is known child molester Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah, he was all over those 90s movies, huh? Oh, God, I forgot about his. Yeah. Uh, Freddie Rodriguez, remember him?
Yeah, I do. He was a little gay guy and everything, right? He was
Yeah,
in
just a little.
Planet Terror. So,
Arius Spears, you see that Arius Spears got canceled because he said that.
oh, Eerie Spirit. Yeah, that's such a random cancellation. Him and Tiffany Haddish also being accused of child molestation. So,
No, no, not because of that. Because he
oh,
said that Lizzo bothers him because she looks at the shit emoji.
wow,
Uh,
double
yep,
heat for Eerie Spears.
yeah, good for him getting mentioned, I guess. Not many people have been thought about him. Oh my God, he's got more than one comedy special. John Leguizamo, freaking sexaholic, a love story where he
Of
pretends
course
to
he
be
does.
more Latin American than he actually is.
They would give him an HBO one man show once every couple of years up until about 2005 or so. HBO loved him.
Yeah, that's it's so sad about Latin American representation where that's the guy. That's the guy that's gonna represent everyone. Hey, ay, 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 ay. That's the guy. Great. Very that's what we all sound like. That's why nobody believes that I'm Latin American.
Do you think
Because
that
it's
he
like,
would be?
where's
Do
your
you think?
mustache?
Do you think he'd be happy if Oscar Isaac got cast as Fidel Castro?
Oh, well, he's Guatemalan, right? I
Sure.
think he's
Yeah, he's Latin, but I'm saying if it went to Oscar Isaac, who's an actually talented Latin American actor, and not John Leguizamo.
I think he would still complain, and instead of saying that it's not going to a Latin American person, he would say, "Well, he gets everything now. They only hire one Latino, so of course he
Right,
got
he's
it,"
the
or something
token,
like
of
that.
course, because
Yeah,
he's so white now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That 5'1" little brown man is the token Latino now. At least he doesn't play the stereotype like Leguizamo does. That's the thing that always bothers me. There's like you don't have to do that. There's people like me, that are not like I
Aye,
everything,
aye, aye. That's right.
and we don't get representation because if you're a Latino in anything, it's either the bald Mexican that's actually Italian with a mustache that we talked about with Brendan, I think it was. Do you remember his name? uh the
Oh,
the one that's on everything, and his name is shortened to just initials because his last name is like super Italian. Remember what his name is? Fuck.
it's not
uh
coming to mind at the moment.
what was he on? Everything. I was just bald Mexican guy with a mustache. But it's either that or the Leguizamo character, and it's like there's you know we're not all like that. That's my representation in mass state lottery. You're gonna see a very different version of Latino person.
Latinx, the Latinx community.
No, that's no,
No, now you're being un-PC, Hans.
no.
I thought we were
Latinx.
turning over a new leaf for this show to try and get the Ethan Klein fan
Oh
base
yeah,
of,
yeah.
uh, yeah,
Let's,
that's
let's
that's the ticket.
got it.
I'll be the Hassan and you'll be the Ethan Klein.
You can
That's
just
how
be
this will
the
go.
the wife that sits on the side and just goes,
Yeah, the healer.
yeah, yeah, heater.
Yeah. Anyway,
Uh,
this Old Boy movie. Is there anything you liked about Old Boy 2013?
um, uh, that suitcase was nice that he came out of. That looked nicer than the Korean one. Even his wig wasn't as good as when he's been kidnapped for 15 years. Even that looks bad compared to what I'm sure was his natural hair on the Korean movie, because I think he kind of keeps it for the rest of it.
Hmm.
I don't know. I would have to think really hard about something that I guess my problem also is that I compare it to the original one, which I think is a mistake that I do always every time I watch a remake.
You don't
I
think
would
it calls for it though? I mean, it feels like they were going for that beat for beat, and at no point didn't have that movie out of their mind. I don't think there was ever a time, and maybe they said this publicly in like interviews or something, like we're trying to do our own thing, but clearly you watch this movie and that's not the case at all. They want to live up to that 2003 Korean film from Park Chan Wook. and they fall so short of that. It's remarkable.
Yeah, especially because and I'm again, I'm not a scholar when it comes to Spike Lee movies, but his visual style, even though it's interesting and he was, I guess you can say, groundbreaking with the kind of shots he was doing in his early movies, he's never been someone that you watch because of the way that his movies look.
Hmm.
Compared to Park Chan-wook, who's got such a refined style to his shots and the way he makes movies, that it feels like such an odd pairing to try to remake it and not just try to do like, I guess, its own thing, which at the end it's not what ended up being.
No, you need a filmmaker who's clever with composition and with editing, because Park Chan Wook's style, as far as that goes, is very Hitchcock like, and Spike Lee is nowhere near
No.
that ballpark, and he doesn't really even go for that. Nothing that he's done has called for that sort of editing or shooting. So you would need a more clever filmmaker than that if you're trying to do this in 2013. I don't know who that would necessarily be. Um, Maybe someone like a no, I don't have anybody. I have nothing. I've got
Refn.
nobody for that. Yeah, Refn. No, honestly, Refn's old boy. I wanted to avoid saying Refn when it comes to a director to helm a remake of Old Boy, but he's the only one that I think could put his own stamp on that and have it work with what's already there and build something different from that.
You know, I think I would be interested in seeing what Von Trier would do with something like this
Oh, he's
because
dead. He's gone. He's shaky hands, Parkinson's, dying old man.
oh fuck.
The Kingdom, the final season that they just shot, that's it. He knows he's done, and he said, "This is my last hurrah. It's
That
it.
that
That's it."
sucks because not because I'm the biggest fan of his, but he's one of those directors that is willing to push the envelope, not just with his interviews where he talks nicely about figures of the past, but also with his movies. Like they're always pushing boundaries, and the fact that he's now shaky. Lars J. Fox sucks. That's really
Mm.
sad. Because something like this, I think, especially after the house that Jack built, I feel like his take would be at least interesting to watch, just to see how far he would push the envelope, and if he did what Spike Lee did with the villain backstory, I feel like he will be able to handle that a little bit better than what they did with Charlton Copley.
I don't know if he would ever be interested in remaking somebody else's film. Although he did do the Five Obstructions. He was, I mean, he didn't do that, but he was orchestrating that. He directed that. Maybe there would be a fascination there. Um, I don't know. It's kind of weird to think that Stephen King remade his shit with Kingdom Hospital back in the early odds. But yeah, no, I think he's a very good director. I don't know if I'm sure he could pull this off in his own way, but I don't know. Um, it seems too energetic for him. He's all about like feeling out the scene, taking your time. It would
Mm-hmm.
be a very different old boy.
Just
Um,
that dogma old boy
yeah.
who's just running around chasing an Asian man hitting people.
Um, I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on this Old Boy 2013 movie? Because I don't know if I have too much to say. Here's one thing I did like. I liked Samuel L. Jackson in this movie. I liked him having, you
It's
know,
tough to
yeah, parts of his, what was it, parts of his lip or being removed, chunks of it being removed,
pull it up.
or his neck. No, it's parts of his neck were being cut out. I thought that was well done, and probably my favorite bit of the movie when Joe takes the box cutter to his throat and starts removing pieces of him to try and get him to talk.
I got it. Okay. Should I pull it up?
Yeah, why not?
Oh shit. Hold on. I
So
always forget to check the
we're gonna be taking a look, I guess, at that scene or a scene. We'll find out.
20 years.
Well, they also made it 20 years. The original one is 15, right?
Mm-hmm. Do you like that this is Josh Brolin's version of being a fat
Fat,
Slav?
yeah. It's just muscular with a belly. Kind of a belly, not even. Oh no. I just remember how bad that
Oh, Mark Prosovich. This guy fucking stinks too. Did I confuse him with Dauberman? Maybe they
yeah,
have a similar look.
they do. Yeah. When I was looking it up, I was like, "Oh, this guy? Yeah, that's fat,
Oh,
right?"
fatty, you fat pig. Oh, what a loser.
I dried out my joints, I dried out my muscles. I was cramping horribly for about 2.5 weeks.
I'm gonna pass out. I ate 3 hamburgers before I fell asleep last night. I gained a pound.
And then he had to lose that weight like over the weekend.
I'm having to fight for 1 cell of oxygen.
They're definitely bringing that element of physicality that I'm not sure too many people would want to bring.
Josh reverted to the animal instinct in all of us.
Wow. I love that Spike doesn't even believe what he's saying.
Going away.
He's reading a
Very
teleprompter.
Yeah.
And that's what I want going to the movies. I want to be moved.
I only run this place.
That scene.
You might want to think about what you're doing here.
I've been thinking about it for the last 20 years.
How many times did they say 20 years in the movie? Because in this little featurette, they did it twice already.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess they didn't show that scene. I don't know why I thought that scene would be on YouTube.
Mark Prosovich. I think he did I Am Legend. I got him confused with Gary Dauberman. My mistake, folks. This is why it's a Patreon only episode. Because I made a mistake, and now that means I have to bury the episode.
We'll never know. The guy you were shit talking is just another guy that kind of looks like him.
Kind of looks like Gary Dauberman.
Oh, why people look the same? Kind of looks like Spencer.
All right. What would you say then, if you had to remake another Park Chan-wook movie? Who would you place as the director, and which Park Chan-wook movie would it be?
Damn. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this question. I don't
The
like being put in this
answer,
spot.
the answer. There's only one answer to this, and it's Sympathy for Lady Vengeance, directed by Olivia Wilde.
Yeah. What's her thing now?
What
She's
is, what
a
is the Don't Look
controversy
Darling
'cause
movie that fell apart because she's a fucking liar?
she's like
All
Welcome
actresses are
Home.
liars.
What's
They
her
make
movie?
up stories.
Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. Is that the...
That's right. Yeah, yeah. That's her best movie. I love that movie. Martin Lawrence as
What-
Old Boy.
What did she lie about? Something with Shia LaBeouf, right?
Shia LaBeouf has. I tweeted that this has been his redemption week because he started the press tour for the Padre Pio movie that Abel Ferrara directed that he stars in,
Incoming
and
Kino.
he popped on. So John Bernthal has a podcast for some
Yeah.
reason.
I saw that.
Why I don't know. He just he lets people talk and he goes, yeah, true, that's fair, true.
With a sideways hat.
Yeah.
It's just very, yeah.
He has nothing to offer. He's just a fake tough guy. That's all he is. I like him as an actor, but
Yeah.
he doesn't belong in that podcast media. He doesn't belong on YouTube. So he went on that, and he also did a Catholic podcast, and he was talking about everything. He was talking about all his troubles, and they were enjoyable shows. But the big thing that came out right around the same time is that Olivia Wilde said, I had to fire Shia LaBeouf because Florence Pugh, how do you say her last name?
I'm foreign. You're asking me. Pew.
Pig.
P-U. That's her feet.
She does not like Shia LaBeouf's method acting or however he warms up, however he gets into character. And in reality, he was just not vibing the movie anymore. He quit the movie, and she begged him to come back to set and referred to Florence as Miss Flo. Miss Flo is known for her attitudes on the set. So
Is that a period thing?
yeah.
Nice. All right, so that all it did was just bring attention to her shitty movie that probably no one had any interest in watching
Negative
before.
attention. Well, here's the thing now. If this story doesn't come out and Shia LaBeouf doesn't send the video to Variety that he recorded for him, that she recorded for him, excuse me, to try and convince him to come back, where she's
What a dumbass! Why would you do
begging.
that?
Because she's a
Why would-
fuck. Because actresses are liars and stupid, and they make up stories to sound good and be perceived as good, and they're liars and stupid.
Why would you? Yeah, I don't. It's like they don't understand technology. I'm just gonna record this video where I shit talk this other actor. Let's hope it doesn't come out. The actor that's the
Only-
star of my movie.
Only women. This is a pathology that it's mainly women and gay guys do this sort of big hysterical story that never happened. That's just a fucking fantasy, and go public with it and tell it like it's the truth. And it always sounds cookie cutter perfect. Olivia Wilde, clearly a crazy psychopath to have Jason Sudeikis serve divorce papers to her during Comic-Con or whatever presentation. Imagine hating your ex-wife, who you had kids with, so much that you humiliate her in that fashion. People say, he must be an asshole. Yeah, he probably fucking is an asshole. He's probably a horrible guy. But imagine, what did she do for him to hate her so much to do that?
Or Ted Lasso to be an asshole.
America's Nice
Imagine,
Guy.
yeah.
The new Bob Saget did that. Why? Why would he do that? Just what? Because he's a sociopath? No, I don't think so. I think she was probably a crazy bitch. That's my guess. I don't know. It just seems like it's a common trend. Is she was a little too wild at heart. Olivia Wilde.
Yeah.
Now she's dating Harry Styles, man who loves to wear dresses and kiss Nick Kroll on the mouth.
Nice. Nick Kroll's in this movie too. Great. Good for him. I guess.
I bet
It's
you
fine.
this would have gotten 90% on Rotten Tomatoes if that never happened. And now it's at 30%. And I
Oh,
bet you it's
wow,
not
really?
even that bad. I bet you it's not even that bad.
I bet it's just a whatever forgettable movie, but she wanted to. 42%, yeah.
She cared about the message a little too much, and now she's going to pay for it. She's going to get a good deal with Daily Wire, directing the next movie, direct their Western series. It'll be a fantastic time at the movies.
Is that her first? She directed a movie called Booksmart.
Which was
2019.
popular. That had Beanie Feldstein, Jonah Hill's sister, in that movie. And it got critically well received.
Wait, Jonah Hill's last name is Feldstein?
No, Jonah Hill's name is Jonah Hill,
Oh,
which is his father's last name. Feldstein, I think, is the mother's last name. I don't know.
okay. I was like, you changed your name to Feldstein?
Jonah Feldstein.
No, the sister, I mean. Her sister went from Beanie Hill to Beanie
Benny
Felds.
Hill. That's
Benny.
right. Bookstores are Benny Hill. So, Old Boy 2013. It's one of the worst movies of 2013.
Yep. That was a good year, too.
It was a great year for movies. You know, I don't think Tusk came out in 2013. I think that was 2014. We're getting a sequel to Tusk.
Do you think that's happening?
I think
said
he
he was
thinks it's
working on
happening.
it,
I think
yeah.
he's excited to do sequels to every movie he's done. You're going to get Chasing Amy 2. You're going to get...
Well, the Mallrats one wasn't
The
announced,
Mallrats
right?
one, I think, will happen eventually. Clerks 3 comes out next week. Fathom Events.
Are you going to make me watch that for an episode?
When it goes to digital, hell yeah.
No,
Hell
the
yeah,
theater,
Clerks
I mean.
trilogy.
I'm going to fly to the United States.
You're
so
gonna
I can
fly. You're gonna fly.
watch-
What's the closest state? Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll be
that'll.
a 5-hour flight to Florida so I can watch Clerks 3 in this theater with a Q&A, Kevin Smith at the end.
I don't think he's doing anything
not doing-
special.
No, because everyone's just going to make fun of him crying at everything. It's just like, Kevin, why do you keep crying?
His fan base is diminishing, which so he's the first director to say, I don't care about critics anymore. I got a fan base. I know I can sustain that fan base. I'm going to make films for that fan base, which is a very like comic booky mentality.
Yeah.
And now you go to like Reddit and you go to Facebook, there's no growth at all. All of his fans are within the same age group. Like there's a median average of like
40.
yeah, about honestly about I was gonna say 38 years old is like the average age of his fan. He's not bringing in any new people, and I think when he realizes that that's going to run out, and you're not going to be able to make your movies this way because that's going to fade. And I mean, maybe people will keep showing up, but you're going to continually lose people on every single one because you can't really go higher than Clerks 3 as far as his movies go. Then you got to do something different. You got to go back to whatever it was that made you good once upon a time.
But it's also, I feel like that's also not him being completely honest with the whole I don't care about critics, I'm just going to do things for my fans, because then he's also a shill for everything corporation. So you can't be an indie darling that cries at the Flash CW series, you know, it doesn't really go with each other, especially. And you know what, if you're crying at the Flash, that's fine, you know, go cry at the TV show. You don't have to post a picture of yourself in tears because Grant Gustin or whatever his name is has a new suit, you know. So that's the where those two things don't fit, because you're still trying to be that chill, but they won't give you anything because you're not that good. And then at the others on the other side, you know, I'm doing things just for my fans, but that's not the persona that you're playing on the internet. It's supposed to be you, right?
Yeah.
So
well, I don't know. I will see Clerks 3 because I am a loyal Kevin Smith fan, and I have no expectation for it to be even as good as what Clerks 2 was.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's beyond redemption as a director. I just don't know what it's going to take for him to be able to make what would be a good movie. I think maybe now that his life is starting to become closer to normal, and by normal I mean not famous, wealthy Hollywood director guy, there's an opportunity for him to gain new life experiences and maybe use that, because all of his movies came from experiences he had. Even Clerks 3, predictably, is about, oh, he had a heart attack, now he's going to go make a movie. That's Randall. Anyway.
Yeah, very creative. Really had to go to the well to get that story. Yeah, I'm one of the people that he's lost, not just because of the quality of his work, but also I used to like how outspoken he was when he had original opinions, I guess. So you would try to get his point of view on things. I think I have the first two Evening with Kevin Smith DVDs, because I was like, let's hear stories about the industry from this outsider, right? But as soon as he tried to like fit in with that he was completely rejected from, he just turned into just like a very unlikable man-child. That
I think his novelty was that he gave fans of his the opportunity to learn whatever his opinions were about film and life and whatever long before anybody else did. So he kind of ushered in the idea, or what the appeal is, of podcasts before that was like a normal thing.
Yeah.
And without that, you know, now that everybody's I mean, Tarantino and Roger Avery have a podcast now. It's not exciting, and you know what to expect from Kevin Smith. That's the unfortunate thing about it. All right. Do we have anything else we can add about Oldboy or anything Park Chan-wook, Spike Lee related? Since we've been going now for a little bit, we did obviously a heftier episode on the 2003 film, which is far superior. You know, I'm surprised Bollywood hasn't taken a stab at Oldboy yet. I mean, it would be very controversial if they stuck all the way through with it. But, you know, they take everything.
They would take that away from the movie, I think. I don't think they would add incest stuff, even though it probably happens there a lot.
It would be something like
get the director from RRR to do Oldboy.
That would be, you know, I would actually like to see that. I bet you they would change it though. So they would change it to be something much more dignified in Bollywood, but still like low. So here's what it would be. It would actually be he falls in love with his best friend's wife. That would
When do
be
you,
like the compromise.
when do you think they'll dance? What part of the movie is the dance number coming? Is he dancing inside of the room with his
No, I don't think he's dancing
imagination?
inside. I don't think he's dancing inside the room. I think maybe there's a celebratory dance on the roof when he like grabs the guy's tie in
Oh
the
yeah,
original, and they start dancing. You know, to celebrate being free men.
right.
And then maybe at the end, you know, you have the bad guy and his bodyguard break out in a dance sequence when he's like about to cut his tongue off. I think that could maybe happen.
Maybe. I'm just trying to figure out where you would fit that more than one dance number there, but yeah, I would be interested. I would be more interested in watching that than watching Spike Lee's Old Boy again.
What about
So
Matt Reeves' Old Boy?
now, what about Matt Reeves? Nothing. What?
I was pretty pleased to hear that his Cape Crusader Batman the Animated Series revival got rejected, got Zasloft out of production. Even though I think it was like almost finished, just like Batgirl, it's done.
There's a Sputnik remake that he's doing.
Sputnik.
That's very upsetting. That was a. Was that the one that someone in one of our videos also recommended?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Sputnik? Is that
What is Sputnik?
alien Russian movie about an alien? You never seen that? That's a
Is
good
that
one.
with Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd?
No,
Oh.
no, that's Blues Brothers.
No,
No,
that's Spies Like Us.
it's a it's a movie about these astronauts that went to space, and then when they came down, one of them was dead, horribly killed, and then the other one was acting weird, and then he just has like an alien inside of him or whatever. It's really good. It's on Netflix, I think, now, so that's definitely a recommend. Sucks that he's apparently producing a remake, an American remake of it, because that's unnecessary, but that's recommended for me because I saw it very recently, and you should check out because you're not familiar with it at all.
All right, we'll set a reminder for Sputnik. What would you say is like the next Park Chan-wook movie you'd be interested in covering for this program?
I mean, I think we should do the trilogy.
You want to do all right? Yeah, I think that only makes sense.
We could do just the first and third in one episode since we did this one already.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot to cover
There's a lot there.
with both of those movies, and they're not all that similar. They have very different themes, very different plots, even if they have, names that go together with one another. Maybe we'll do it how we did this show and just make it a little more concise, break it up, and handle it that way. All right. Well, I think that is a wrap on our Old Boy episodes here tonight. Join us if I ever decide to release this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll see. Who knows what the future holds. Join us at patreon.com/lowres. Join the $5 tier. Should I be directing them anywhere else? Mass State Lottery trailer.
Right.
H-word name on Twitter. LowResWB on Twitter. ForgottenGenres.com for certainly superior filmmaking than what we saw from Spike Lee in 2013. All right, that has been Movies for this week. Thank you for listening.